Hey, Grace Honolulu family. This past week marked a historic moment. It has been 1 year since the World Health Organization deemed this a worldwide pandemic, and we have been together following Jesus through this. There's obviously no manuals as to how to proceed in this way, so we determined very early on that together as a church community, we would come back stronger than we entered into the situation. This situation of incredible disruption, uncertainty, and disorientation. And we've been doing just that. We've been looking for, in the midst of crisis, where there's danger and there's opportunities, we've been looking for God opportunities. And God has done amazing things. He is always at work. The biggest thing that we've seen is we've seen people come to know Jesus in the midst of this. We're celebrating. I mean, I could just stop right there because that's what we are really all about. And that's what our God is all about, bringing people back into relationship with Him. And that's happened. People who didn't know Jesus have come to know Jesus. People who weren't involved with our church community have gotten involved in our church community. People who weren't in a small group got involved in a small group. There have been miraculous healings. I cannot wait to be able to share some of the stories with you, but stories where doctors have said basically, we don't know how that happened, but it did. But we know how it happened. God is always at work, and He's at work healing and saving us. And He's at work providing for us. One of the miraculous things that have happened during this whole past year is that God has not only provided for us individually, but He has provided for us a church. And He has provided for us a church property. Now, very early on, we trusted God when we were locked out of Kahala Elementary, where we normally meet. In fact, for us as a church, it's been exactly a year since we have gathered together in person in the same room. And in that process, we just decided that we were going to follow Jesus. We were going to go forward in strength and believe that God had something for us, had a new property for us. And in this process, we have pursued the property formerly known as the Willows. And in that process, we have raised together, listen to this, and you know this, over $870,000 so that we could purchase this property. And in this process, we have been making improvements together, side by side, working on this. And whenever God does something of this magnitude, and you see this in the scriptures when God brings His people into the land that He promised to them, He doesn't do everything all at once. It's a journey. It's a journey that causes them to be able to appreciate what God does for them and the gift that He gives to them. And it's a journey that they engage in. And as they do engage in it, He develops strength in them so that they can thrive in the property, thrive in the land, thrive in the gift that He's given them. He does it little by little. And so we have been on this journey of little by little. Little by little, we pursued the property. Little by little, we raised the money together to be able to purchase the property. Little by little, we have persevered, prayed through, pushed through all kinds of obstacles, and we're continuing to do that. And little by little, God is developing in us a great appreciation so that we can thrive here, and a great strength so that God can work through us to reach a community that needs to know that He is a God of hope, He's a God of healing, and He's a God of freedom. Little by little. And now little by little, we're getting ready to regather. And I want to take you inside our main worship center as we've been making preparations to regather. Come on, let's go. So little by little, we've been building for tomorrow today. And we've been doing this together. The reason why we pursued this property wasn't just so that we would have a place to gather and grow, but was so that we would have a place to go into our community, and so that we would have a place to gather our community together with us, because we want to build for tomorrow today. We want to reach the next generation of college student at the University of Hawaii, the next generation of middle school or high schooler, the next generation of family, the next generation of single person in the marketplace. We're building together for tomorrow today. And so let me show you just a couple of the improvements as Frank pans. We'll show you some of the improvements we're making as we get ready to regather. We've put up monitors. We've put up a sound system. I'm standing on a stage that we've built. Incredible improvements. We've been doing this together side by side, and little by little, our multimedia team is figuring out how we can continue to host our online services as well as project into the pavilion. Together, we're doing this little by little. And this is just a small part of the team that's been doing some crazy work to get ready so that we can regather together. In fact, on March 21st, we're going to have our first test run. And then on March 28th, we're inviting you to join us. Now, we're going to have limited seating, so we'll talk to you about registration next week. But until then, know that this will be a safe environment. Everybody will be wearing their masks. It will be a sanitized environment, and it will be a socially distanced environment. I mean, we are so excited to be together in the same room once again. We know that our online community will continue, and many of you will prefer that. And so we're going to continue to offer that as well. We look forward to seeing you. Until then, team, let's do this together.